Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Your questions to the top of the hour. We appreciate you being part of the program. If you've got a question, you can certainly submit it to us at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. You can give us a call at 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-SHOW. Again, you can send us an email anytime at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. First question here is about tomatoes. I've got tomatoes that have a white powdery substance on them. A couple of weeks ago, you talked about powdery mildew. Is that what I have? You did not mention anything in regards to tomatoes developing that problem.
So overly crowded tomatoes
what do we have here?
It's called leaf blemishing mildew.
Okay. So it is a mildew of some sort.
Right, and it's a powdery mildew fungus that will coat the tomato leaves and even the stems possibly as well. And so before this happens, you're going to get these yellow or pale green spots on the foliage, and then if it gets out of control, it will affect your plant.
Well, why is this occurring? What causes this?
It's because of overcrowding and excessively shaded or excessively fertilized plants. So that's always good to keep in mind is if you're going to fertilize, no matter what you're fertilizing, follow the directions. And apply correctly. But anyway, and you also want to space your plants apart properly as well. So sprinkling the plant's leaves with water is not the answer. What you want to do is you want to do something like a
This is a homemade remedy.
Yeah. So you take 1 gallon of water and 1 tablespoon of each baking soda and non-detergent liquid soap, so something like just dish soap.
Right.
And then you can even do a light vegetable oil, and you spray that on the leaves. The soap or the vegetable oil will help adhere to the leaves. That's the important part. And then you just spray on the leaves when this first appears, and it's going to help break that down.
Yeah, anywhere you see the mildew, go ahead and spray that on there. But again, proper planting, proper fertilization, adequate sunlight makes the difference here. And we all make mistakes. Maybe you didn't do it quite right this year, but we're all learning together. We had a phone call come in this week. Let's see what that one was in regards to and how we can help.
And I got Creepin' Charlie coming in across the alley from me. So I'm thinking of spraying it with green gobbler vinegar, kill it, and then I want to bring in some topsoil and let the weeds grow till middle of August before I sow it with grass. But I have some rhubarb. It's already down there in somewhat of a low area. It's strawberry rhubarb. And is it fine to cover that 3-4 inches? Will it survive doing that, or I can wait till fall, really for that too when it's more dormant?
Okay, so yes, you can spray green gobbler horticultural weed killer, 20% vinegar on the creeping Charlie. Cover that up. That'll burn that, and then you can seed that in the fall. I would hold off on covering the rhubarb just because you don't want to smother it now. You want it to allow it to photosynthesize and get as much energy into the roots before it goes into dormancy. But then you could cover it 3 or 4 inches. You're not going to hurt it at all. What you're actually going to do is benefit the rhubarb by incorporating more nutrients around the plant, and that actually is going to be beneficial to the plant in the years to come. So you can certainly do that. Yeah, the green gobbler, it's a great weed killer. It's an organic, certified organic, OMRI listed there, to get rid of that creeping Charlie that many of us deal with on a regular basis. All right, here's a question for you, Holly. Can you use freshly harvested potatoes and plant them again for a second crop?
Yes, you can, but there should be no issue with this, as when you harvest the potatoes and then bring them indoors, they begin to sprout anyway, but you want to know how long they're going to grow for.
Right.
So if you're like where we are and you harvest them in August and they take 60 days to grow, they might not grow.
But if you have a 60-day or a 70-day or an 80-day variety and you plant them in, early in the spring, harvest them, flip them, and plant them again there. So that will certainly work. Last week we had a question about leaf curl on the tomatoes, and after doing more research, one, we felt it was inadequate watering or not enough watering, which was curling the leaves because it was reducing the surface area. That can be the case. However, there's a lot of tomato curl that is not associated with a disease or anything like that. It's just a temperature fluctuation. And if you see tomato curl on your plants and it relaxes and it curls, it's from what I have found in the different universities that I've looked at, it's not a big deal. A lot of people don't know why it occurs. It could be the fluctuation of moisture as well as the fluctuation of temperature, kind of what we touched on last week. But I did want to make that known there. Let's see here. Question 8, Holly, so you know where we're at on the list. To the listeners, that means nothing to them. First off, I want to thank you for producing the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show. I listen regularly via podcast while working in the garden. Well, thank you very much for that. As my vegetable plants are getting ready and finally yielding some produce, I'm noticing some issues which I hope you can help with diagnosing. First off, my pepper plants, there are a few of them with the leaves dropping off of them and completely dropped off. The pepper plants do not appear to be dead because I see more leaves forming in some of the rows where the leaves once were. Any advice on that? They're turning yellow and brown at the bottom and dropping off. Any ideas what may be causing this? Kathy asked.
Well, definitely if the pepper leaves are falling off, it's a sign of too much water or not enough water. And in both the cases, the plant will drop their leaves. Leaf drop can result from nitrogen heavy fertilizer. Again, feed your plants properly. Even adding fertilizer to the planting hole can burn the plant. So it could either be too much water, not enough water, or you over fertilize them.
Those are the easy answers. Those are the ones that we would initially go with. And if those do not supplement, if you're watering correctly and you didn't add a lot of fertilizer, then there's the next step of there's probably some kind of insect or disease entered. So we kind of go with the easier answers first, and that most of the time is the solution to the problem. But there are times where we have to dig a little deeper and get the more into that. Well, that will put us out of time for the program today. We greatly appreciate you taking time to listen to the show. If you missed any portion of this show or want to
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.